Yeah, I'm aware. We're getting one day closer by the day to the 2025 NFL draft up in Green Bay. But I want to talk about something different today, and that is the future. The future at the quarterback, running back, receiver, and tight end positions. Specifically because I just completed a Superflex Devi mock draft. For those of you that don't know what Devi is quite literally phrased as a developmental type of a situation here for college prospects. It's everybody that's not in the current NFL draft cycle, and it's mainly speaking towards like the fantasy football space. Devi would not qualify as Ashton Genty, Tedero McMillan, Cam Ward. It's the Arch Mannings of the world at Texas, the 2026, 2027 eligible players, and even 2028 eligible players. I just completed a 2 round draft with a lot of industrial people, a lot of analysts in the space that know exactly what they're talking about, know and have studied and looked at and covered prospects in the 2026, 2027, and 2028 class. I'm going to talk you through a couple of my selections, a couple of the selections that were made, but I'm not going to talk you through every single pick. To get that, you got to go over to DLF, Dynasty League Football. My friend Ryan McDowell is writing a article up right now with all the draft selections, with comments from all the draftees. You can go check that thing out over at DLF, or if you go follow Ryan on X at RyanMC23. You can go find that mock. That'll be up, I'm sure, in the coming days, if it's not up now. All right. So, first and foremost, the top pick in this draft was not a quarterback. And this is super flex. So that usually means in that format, you want to have 2 quarterbacks in your starting lineup for fantasy football. Jeremiah Smith was the first selection in this draft. And to no surprise, Jeremiah Smith is a guy. The conversation has died down over the course of the last couple of, I don't know, months because the season's over and he's not in the draft cycle. But when the season was coming to an end and Ohio State won the national championship, and this guy had 1,315 yards and 15 touchdowns as a true freshman at Ohio State, playing with the Emeka Egbuka and Carnell Tate and Brendan Innes, Jeremiah Smith was conversed as a guy that would be a top 5 pick in this class. People were like, he would 100% go top 5 in this class. And I would wholeheartedly believe he would 100% be a New England Patriot if he was there at 4. No questions asked. There's teams obviously need quarterback, but past quarterback, you could argue Jeremiah Smith is maybe in contention at 2 or 3 if Cleveland hypothetically would have, I'm not going to deed all into that, but if Cleveland would have been aggressive at quarterback, they could have taken Jeremiah number 2 overall. Think it would be 100% warranted. Even Tennessee, hypothetically. Jeremiah Smith, first overall. Arch Manning, quarterback at Texas. Everybody knows the Manning name. Eli and Peyton's nephew, Cooper's son, Arch Manning. He's going to be the quarterback for Texas in 2026 and in 2027. Just want to get out ahead of it. People that haven't been in the know, haven't been around the circle, don't know the family ties, the family conversation with Arch is they want to see this guy start 30 games in college. To do that, he's going to have to play more than just 2025. He's going to play in 2026 at Texas. He just is. He's not going to play 1 year, and I know he'd be the top pick next year, but he's not going to play 1 year and then go pro. He's going to play for 2 years at Texas and then go pro. So as you can see, I'm building a case here is that Jeremiah Smith is going to be in that 2027 draft. Arch Manning's going to be in that 2027 draft. 2 maniacally high-end prospects at each position. Ryan Williams from Alabama, another player that went Super Saiyan this last year, wide receiver from Alabama, the number 2 ranked prospect in the class last year behind Jeremiah Smith at the wide receiver position. Almost 900 yards, 8 touchdowns. Everybody remembers the plays that he made during the season, the highlight reel plays that he made during the season. He's another receiver in that 2027 class. I'm going to skip on down to pick 9, my selection, Cam Coleman, wide receiver from Auburn, another wide receiver in the 2027 NFL draft class cycle right now. Cam Coleman is, I know Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams are the famed names right now, but Cam Coleman is an alien-like creature at the wide receiver position. 37 receptions, 600 yards, 8 touchdowns at 16 yards per reception, playing for Auburn. He's 6'3", 197. Like I said, this guy's like Tarzan in length. I love Cam Coleman. And another receiver in that class is Ryan Wingo. Ryan Wingo from the University of Texas is the second Texas player that went off in round one. Wingo 6'2", 215, a strong route runner for being that size. Played in the receiving room with Isaiah Bond and DeAndre Moore and Gunnar Helm and Matthew Golden, potentially the first receiver drafted this next year. And he still managed 472 yards and 2 touchdowns, along with 5 carries for 100 yards, did Ryan Wingo. He went with the 11th selection in this draft. Another name in the 2027 class. So now if you're counting like Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, Cam Coleman, and Ryan Wingo, 4 guys that if you ask people today how to project them, it would be first round, and first round. Why I'm bringing this up and why I'm talking about this today, because there was 1 running back drafted in the first round of this draft. There was 3 drafted in the second round of this draft. And to be quite frank, none of them compared to Ashton Genty. None of them compare today to Marion Hampton or Trayvon Henderson. You could argue Nick Singleton, who came off the boards 5th, compares and is probably favorable in the Quinshon Judkins conversation. But it's basically explained to you that this is not that we haven't beat this in like a drum, like a dead horse. Like this is a historic running back class in 2025, but it is going to drop off the next 2 years. And when it drops off, it's going to be fulfilled with as equally historical wide receiver class in 2027. Next year's quarterback class, I'll talk about it here in a second, but 2027 from the receiving perspective, Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State, Ryan Williams from Alabama, Cam Coleman from Auburn, Ryan Wingo from Texas, and TJ Moore from Clemson, along with Bryant Wesco from Clemson, another receiver that just went off in the second round. It's a disgustingly strong 7 guys that all have number 1 abilities. They just happen to be in classes with each other. So 2027 wide receiver class for those watching, and the 2026 class is looking like it's going to be quarterback centric. Quarterback centric in 26. We had DJ Lagway from Florida come off the board 4th overall. We also had Garrett Nussmeier, who looked like he was going to be a top 10 pick in this draft. There's, and I don't say that just like idiot saying that. Like I say that as like sources have said, we believe if Garrett Nussmeier would have declared, he would have been a guy that pushed his name up into the top 15, top 10. Same for Cade Klubnik. If he would have declared, he would have pushed his name into round 1 through the pre-draft process, the combine, and at the pro day. He has another name, as well as Lenora Sellers from South Carolina, a rushing asset. Rushing the football asset. Nico Iamaleava from Tennessee, another quarterback. Like this is going to be, it's looking like right now like a 4 or 5 first round quarterback situation in 2025. So you have a historical running back class in 2025, a historical quarterback class in 2026, and a maniacally amazing wide receiver class in 2027, topped by Jeremiah Smith. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. The draft ranking show. We'll get back to the 2025 class, but man, we got to talk about the future. We got to have some fun. See you guys tomorrow.